Before I get started, the GDC organizers would like me to ask you to please silence all of your noise-making devices. They are recording this talk to the vault, and I'm sure you have a great ringtone, but they don't really want it on the recording. Also, they will be sending out a survey link after the talk. Please take the time to fill it out so they can continue to bring you relevant and enjoyable talks in the future. Thank you. So my name is Natasha Miller, and I'm a research scientist on the Player Behavior Insights team at Blizzard. The goal of my team is to work with game teams and other organizations at Blizzard to champion our core value of play nice, play fair by minimizing the prevalence and impact of disruptive player behaviors through accurate detection, more effective penalization, and incentivizing pro-social behavior through data-informed feature design. My talk today will focus on the work I did in collaboration with the Overwatch team on incentivizing positive play. And spoilers, I will go over how these designs of the endorsements and LFG systems contributed to lower disruptive behaviors in Overwatch. So disruptive behaviors is a term that I'm going to use a lot in this presentation, so I'll just define it quickly to make sure everyone's on the same page. Disruptive behaviors are any negative behavior that disrupts the core intended experience of the game, whether intentional or not. This includes things like saying or typing horrible things into chat or voice, or intentionally losing, maybe by suiciding, or just being AFK. There are many more examples of this, but I think this really starts to set the stage for this presentation. So, in this presentation, I'm going to start by talking a little bit about the formation of the Overwatch Strike Team, what organizations are a part of that, and how we all work together. Then I'm going to go into a little bit about why Blizzard decided to prioritize social systems in Overwatch. And then next, I'm going to talk about how Blizzard approached these systems. And finally, we're going to get to my favorite part, which is the actual impacts that these systems had. And we'll find out how well any of this really worked. So, we formed a strike team with members of many different teams across Blizzard, including Global Insights. This is actually the team I work for. We are the analytic arm of Blizzard, and we provide teams with both quantitative and qualitative data, as well as objective research and competitive intelligence. My specific team, the Player Behavior Insights team, consists of many different disciplines. We have research scientists, data scientists, engineers, and analysts. Obviously, the Overwatch team was a very critical part of the strike team, and they provided design, art, sound, leadership, engineering, and more to our efforts. Additionally, we worked with a team called Service Technologies that provided engineering support to connect all of our systems, including our customer service systems. So we not only worked with them on that, but we also were able to get a player perspective as well as getting help setting policy. And finally, we worked with the Blizzard Hacks team. So hacking and cheating are very specific types of disruptive behaviors that this team has become incredibly good at dealing with, but it was important for us to get a holistic view of what disruptive behaviors were happening in our game. And today, I'm going to go over our efforts around incentivizing positive play. And most of this work was done with the Overwatch team, and so I do want to go ahead and take a minute to recognize and thank everyone on the Overwatch team that designed and implemented these systems. Without all of the work they did, I would not be able to give this talk today. So, super appreciate those guys. So now I'm going to just get into a little bit about why Blizzard decided to prioritize social systems in Overwatch. But first, I'm sure some of you know Overwatch, but for those of you who may not be as familiar with it, it's a 6v6 team-based hero game where your goal is to either escort or prevent the other team from escorting a payload or to control a point for a specific time. So for example, if you were on this map, it would be your job to either escort this plane or payload down the track or to prevent the other team from doing so by keeping most of your team members on it through the amount of time allocated. Or if you were on this map, your goal would be to keep most of your team members within the orange square for most of the allotted time. And there are some hybrid versions, but this is the basis of the game. So, being on the analytics team, something that was very natural for me was to go and look at the data, what our players were doing, how KPIs were changing. So after the strike team had been doing a lot of our initial efforts, I had to look at the data, and what I found was that less than 1% of our player base were consistently disruptive. This means that they had more than 2 penalties. this is actually quite a very small number of the total accounts in Overwatch. So what does this mean? And the first conclusion was that our penalization system seemed to be working. Not many players are repeat offenders. They are actually reforming.